Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Wherever you are in the world, welcome once again to another session of Living World of Darkness. This is a scene for the Mage venue. We open up in a certain area in the city in which the massive halls of learning known as the local Hermetic College have opened their doors to welcome in many of the local magi of varying traditions, varying factions, and crafts to discuss the current problem going on with the technocracy. The place that we are opening up is a room in said building, specifically set aside for such a meeting. And at the moment, I believe the only individual there is Luke. What is he up to tonight?
He's hating this already. Like, he's a guy who can hide his feelings really easily, but like, fuck this. Like, he doesn't even know what the fuck he is, and this is stupid. Why don't you meet in a normal world? Why you don't hide in a normal world? Why you don't do shit in a normal world? Why there are spirits around? He waits and he sits like, and he didn't ask for a lot of stuff. There's what he asked is like there's this round uh, desk and sits and refreshments. That's all he asks, and he waits for people to arrive.
Isis is coming to the meeting. In her arms are three boxes, boxes of pretty good pizza that she picked up for the meeting. And she is walking down the street, not her usual self. She is a little melancholy and is trying to put on a face, but she's not trying too hard.
The person you see is the guy you see at the meeting. He nods.
Hey.
He's just like, hello. You're Isis, right?
Mm-hmm.
My
Yes.
name's Luke.
Nice. We've met before. She smiles.
He nods. I represent the hermetic interest.
It finally dawns on Isis that she is the authority figure for the Verbena.
He nods, and like you see, Luke didn't say I'm hermetic.
Mm-hmm.
He just said I represent hermetic interest. Like, it's obvious that he is. Like, from his face, it's obvious that he actually wants to say that he's not hermetic. Go on.
She gives you kind of a soft smile. I brought pizza. I figured folks would be hungry.
Thank you. I had refreshments, and that will be really kind of you. It's really kind of you.
Who else are we waiting for?
We're waiting for Violet. We're waiting for Ken. We're waiting for. I gave a lot of letters to a lot of people, so I'm not sure as well.
Is there some ways I can put this? My hands are kind of warm.
He kind of like takes them and puts them on the desk.
Maggie will arrive not too long after Isis, about 5 minutes or so. She carries nothing with her other than her own burdens, and as she steps in, she puffing on her her vape rig, and she looks over at Isis and gives her a nod and a smile, and then walks over to Luke and gives him a nod of respect, so to speak, and finds a chair to sit down in.
You will notice that Isis gives you a nod and a smile, but there is, I guess if you're paying attention to perception empathy.
3.
Something's definitely eating her.
Maggie won't say anything. She just kind of gives that cursory glance of, we can talk later kind of expression.
She says, okay. Kind of mouths okay. And she will compose herself, or at least try to.
And I guess it's at this point that Violet is going to arrive because she doesn't take normal transportation, so obviously she's going to be late. And when she enters, she's just going to sit on a chair, putting her head against the table, just waving.
Hello. Welcome.
And finally, walking through the door will be a young adult person with a fairly bright colored, probably blue and purple side cut and a trench coat, walking inside. They gently set an iPad down on the table, prop it up on a little stand, and turn it on. The individual gives everybody like a sheepish, sort of polite smile, and after a while, the video feed cuts to an image of the inside of an old warehouse, one of those storage units that you can rent. There is some rustling of, finally it points towards the person that most of you remember for once as the virtual adept from the last meeting. Ken, she made it.
What? I mean, God damn it. And you can hear more rustling, and eventually, with a bright blue camp chair that was obviously brought to this location, Ken is juggling 2 or 3 things and sets it up and sits down, a pair of crummy sweatpants and a sweatshirt. He's not even wearing shoes. They look like flip-flops. And he seems to have an array of food.
Maggie blinks a few times. You really?
Well, yeah, I figured this was going to go on for a while.
Escher grabs some chips out of Ken's bag.
Huh, so that's why I didn't saw you at the chantry.
And here I am just sitting here like a chump.
Where's Noah? Looks at Violet.
Busy, family business.
I'm gonna roll manipulation subterfuge because he didn't like what happened. I got 5 successes. Difficulty for seeing him is 8. If anybody cares to roll.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
And then he says, "Well, we have 10-minute pass, so let's start the meeting. Thank you,
Where's
everybody."
I didn't mean to interrupt, but where's Naomi?
She is being represented by Violet.
By who?
Violet.
Violet's the dream speaker, yes? She's speaking for both then?
Oh, see, I thought Violet was
I'm not a dream speaker.
okay. Violet is.
Oh.
Luke says Violet is from.
Oh, right.
I
Never
think he
mind.
knows. Okay, never mind. Who knows?
Why did I think you were a dream speaker? Never mind.
We have a problem. Everybody knows what's the problem, and we have been. All of us have been divided on what we do. I believe we need to talk and decide our actions, so we all know what are we going to do. Anybody has any idea on what they want to do, or anybody has a plan?
You had some sort of plan, didn't you, Your Majesty?
Pardon?
Bob the player knows who she's obviously referring to. So Ken kind of rubs his forehead a little bit. Look, folks, it's pretty simple at this point. Whoever it is we've got that's good at finding things, whoever it is we've got that's good at probabilities, need to get together and figure out the place where our HVTs are currently being kept and the probabilities of the route they end up taking to get to the airport.
Isis will put a piece of paper on the table. Found one.
I hope that time we actually do it from, all of us together.
Isis says she found one.
She found what? It kind of looks at her like, you found what? Sorry?
One of the masters. I found one.
Okay. Do you know where, pardon, as you have said, you found one. Where is that master? And who is that master?
It's the Verbena. She's trying really hard to keep herself hidden. I'm not sure she wants to be found just yet.
I'm sure arranging a pickup might be a good idea, though.
If we can find her, they can.
That's the point I'm trying to make. So whoever, wants to do that, it's there. Or whoever is able to do a pickup, I should say. I don't think I can do it by myself. I know for a fact I can't.
I don't think there's much any of us can do by ourselves right now.
Yeah.
The message is clear. They say that they know where we are, where our changes are, and they kill people who don't enjoy them. So it's time for doing things together. And if we can't do it all by ourselves, then let's all do it together.
You know what's been eating me is they seem to know where we are, and that's kind of amazing. The only tip that we've had so far, anyway, about how they know where we are is, well, I don't have a nice way to put this, but snitches, informants, people who flip sides. There's a particular member, or former member, I should say, of the Akashics who I personally would love to get my hands on if the opportunity presents itself. So let's look at who's left.
There's a lot of people not represented here right now. I don't think that's. Should we really start pointing fingers like that?
I know me and mine don't exactly give ourselves up to the techies.
As long as we don't turn this into a witch hunt, I want to hear what Ken has to say.
That's what my point is. She kind of smiles at Maggie.
All right, fine. And then he just kind of leans back and sips it. Why, Ken? Why did you buy the 2-liter? What were you planning on?
Ken, I think you mistake what Isis and I were getting at. What exactly do you know about a potential leak or a mole or a turncoat?
What I'm saying, basically.
Bigger the organization, larger the chance. I can almost guarantee you, in every instance where a big chantry fell over, we can find one person, or maybe even 2 people, that made it happen. Maggie, the casino was fucking impenetrable. Fucking Norse gods couldn't get in there if they wanted to.
I've been thinking that for a while now.
Exactly. It's somehow the techies found the keys. Fuck, Kasha Chantry didn't even exist on this plane. Techies found the keys. VAs are known for being the most elusive motherfuckers on the planet Earth. Techies found the keys. The only reason the Ecstatics didn't get pounded into the fucking dust is because the techies found the keys to the wrong building. How the Hermetic Chantry is still standing is beyond me.
I think they're coming, in all honesty.
As do
Why
I.
Why do you think we came here via iPad?
Oh, yeah, you guys are sitting in a fucking shooting gallery. I do not envy you.
Well, thank you, Ken. That's always nice to hear.
Exactly.
And-
It shows a lot of courage and help to us while we're sitting here and trying to meet with you all.
Maggie blinks a few times and then just kind of side eyes at the iPad, just kind of trying to meet Ken's gaze as best she can.
Ken's barely paying attention to the exact iPad. He's a lot right now, like a lot of people are in front of various screens.
Mm-hmm.
Where like they're never really looking at the camera, man. It's positioned in a way that makes you think you do it, but you never do you? Hey, I was rather vocal about how bad an idea it was.
And your idea was to meet in a house where we can get attacked by SWAT teams.
Alright, so I have a suggestion. So I understand why Ken did what he did. And honestly, frankly, I'm not mad at him. The point the things that we have to deal with right now is the fact that, one, we need to consolidate together whatever we have, and we need to kind of come together for the betterment of, to put it bluntly, survival.
Exactly.
So my suggestion is that all of us hold up in a place, because if we start spreading out, there's no way we could actually get to each other without tipping someone off. Because as Ken said, apparently we have snitches.
Some of us are mighty good at passing messages back and forth without getting caught. Escher winks.
I'm also worried about survivors, mages that are still in the wind. I haven't been able to get in contact with any of the temple's apprentices or masters or any of the others that made it out, and I refuse to believe that I'm the only one that did.
My buddy, my pal, have been banging that drum for a while. Look.
Nothing wrong with the search party?
Nothing wrong with the search party.
Sorry, Ken. So one thing at a time. So we actually, she kind of looks towards realizing that she's taken a very vocal and front center stage. She almost decides not to say anything and give it back to the person that's supposed to be presiding, but she shakes her head. One at a time, so we make sure that we get all the points so we're not going around in circles. So the first point, are we all in agreement that we should all consolidate together? Yes or no?
Yes.
I think it's a good idea.
Ken?
Yup.
Violet? Ken?
Nope.
Usher?
Nope.
Okay, so we have 2 no's and everyone else seems to be in agreement.
In the many, many, many years that the Mercurial elite have been fighting the technocracy, the best tactics that we have ever come up with are hit and run. We are looking at a point where our best case scenario is guerrilla warfare.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Having a single stronghold doesn't lend itself well to that.
So what do you suggest then?
Multiple fortified areas, most likely places that we aren't afraid to pack up and lose at a moment's notice. Places that don't have any actual significance to us besides being somewhere to sleep, eat, and plan every once in a while.
What's going to happen to those who has families, though?
Well, then that really doesn't consolidate for most of us who need time to prep and prepare.
We all need time to prep and prepare.
So moving from one place to another, wouldn't that be what's the word I'm looking for? Clumsy?
No.
I've had to move 5 times.
I think
We're into it.
I think that maybe a good compromise, or at least a good idea, stemming from both sentiments, is that we establish several different places amongst various cabals, maybe.
Not difficult to ward a location.
Literally takes longer to power wash the floor.
We can get a bunch of places that are quote unquote safe places. It'll be harder to track us down.
So, question. Do we work as separate cells or not?
Because it just sounds extremely divided at this point.
I mean, my main concern is more that if we have multiple hideouts and that we all know about it, if one gets captured, they know all the hideouts.
My point exactly.
Of course, Escher and Ken have a point that if we all squad up together in a single stronghold, it's a lot of important people on the technocracy's hit list, all in one space.
A lot of forces. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure they have way more than we can ever dream of having. The best way that we can dream of defeating them is by splitting them up. If some of them are going towards one location and others are going towards another, it's a lot easier than fighting a single army.
How do we want to work out our vigilance and early warning systems? As far as do we want to establish watchtowers? Places that can filter in information and pass it out freely among us?
Maybe a good idea.
How much is war going to continue? Do we have a time limit that we can have? Like it's usually how much how many weeks it goes usually?
My biggest priority right now is finding my former mentor and getting her out of their clutches.
I can help with that. I'm pretty good.
So, in terms of head honchos, Rose, we know, has been captured. That is the thing I saw myself. Sooner or later, they're going to transport her from wherever they're keeping her to an airport, and from the airport to fucking Myanmar. Dende is still in the wind, and the Verbena head, we at least know where she is. Jewel, probably KIA. I don't actually know.
We may
I
want to
have-
start with one that isn't already in the technocracy's grasp.
I haven't got any news yet of the executor.
Pause. She puts up her hand again. Where the fuck is Edwin? Never
Up his own
mind.
ass. I don't care.
Understand your valid point of not caring. But has anybody heard anything?
He's offering
Offering
safe place in this case.
at least knowing from you, Luke, he's okay. That is what I'm asking.
You know, it's easier.
Fine. Sorry, continue on. I'll shut up.
So I suppose if we need a single messenger, I'll go ahead and do that. It's not a horribly non-traditional role for the Mercurial elite to take up. Escher just kind of shrugs.
Hmm. So what? We make sure that all the people that haven't been captured are good.
Wouldn't hurt to bring them somewhere afterwards if they want to be brought. I mean, let's be honest. For all we know, Dende has pretty much left the city. My time knowing Jewel, she's got one of two things going on with her. She's either been killed in action, which is the most likely, or she has fucked off and is somewhere between here, the middle of the Pacific, or even farther than that.
Hmm. Hmm.
From what little I know about, well, Koshik strategies in this scenario, Noah might be the last one left in the city.
Hmm. Okay, so question. If we make our hideout, do we communicate all of them, or
Have you ever heard of compartmentalization?
yeah, that's what I'm asking.
May want to use the buddy system. Each hideout has one other hideout that they communicate actively with. Everybody has communications open to the single central line. That way, if one hideout is compromised, the other hideout can point that out.
One of the big problems with the chances that have fallen is, let's face it, most of us have been caught with our pants down around our ankles, in a manner of speaking. and when and how they hit, all that information that we can pass on needs to be. I don't even know how the other chanters have been hit. Ken?
Same way you hit all of them. Overwhelming force. Look, the technocracy has more bodies and, frankly, more tendrils into local government than we do. You look at emergency services, you can almost chop ownership in half. My best guess, roughly half of local PD, fire, etc., is owned by the technocracy, and the other half is owned by our fanged friends, the vampires. We ain't got no friends up there. We're not going to have friends up there. What that does mean is if they can do one raid, they can do a bunch. I mean, you've been looking at the propaganda, right? We've all been looking at the fucking propaganda. Organized crime, and he puts up the spirit fingers. That's how they're running this. They don't have a reason to be subtle.
Hmm.
Fortunately, we're pretty damn good at it. So as long as we can keep hidden, it's a lot harder for them to hit us.
Anybody taking notes on what we decided? Okay, I'll
Not it.
I got one guy. I think Ken is right because even before this shit started, I was approached, as I have said before. So they were probably trying to take these people and trying to get them on the their side. What I'm trying to say is that maybe if you can find that guy, you can also gain more information.
Look, I've seen recruiters too. The guys they send out to do the recruiting are their heavy hitters. I'm pretty sure that whatever ideas we have about smacking one of these people, whether it be in some sort of honey trap or whatever, they've experienced it before. Hell, the woman, Dr. Gray, I didn't even have to fucking look sideways at her, and I could tell she could pretty much fling me across the room if she wanted to. The accountant was no different. And that fucker had a bodyguard. If you're looking for somebody to squeeze, well, you're probably looking for one of their low to mid rankers. Now, what we do know is that these guys have developed a bit of a fucking habit. See, they're not just knocking us off these locations because these locations all had lovely things that they want too, like nodes. They're moving in and infesting the place. Every chantry that's been knocked over, you now have a hotbed of technocratic activity. You stare long enough, you're going to see the right people. And when you see the right people, you can follow the right people. Learn their schedules because every schedule has weak points and they all have a fetish for schedules. And now I'm basically explaining to you how crime works, which is not a place I thought to be in my life.
They probably all have families they go home to at the end of the day. That's probably when they're at their most vulnerable.
And also when we're at the most risk for causing civilian casualties.
If they're not caring about casualties. They are also civilian, just because I don't remember breaking any law.
That threshold you want to cross?
Sometimes for survival, I gotta do a lot of bad things. I know we don't live in a perfect world.
Make sure we do it efficiently.
Exactly. We need to make sure that they won't find it's us.
And when one of the guys goes missing, they're gonna find it. What was the word you used? Sus.
It probably will.
Well,
I mean, hell,
maybe we
this all
can-
started after we bumped one of their guys off on the street.
yeah. Maybe what we can do is we can send the guys. I think like if you're going with the Wardy Asher offered, which is, as she said, hit and run, we need to make sure that who we have. Like, we
Are
know
we-
things like
Are we legitimately talking about involving these people's families?
I am.
You realize that's going to cause a level of escalation.
They're not people, they're technocrats.
These people shot people's heads from behind with the gag. I have a mother as well. I don't want my mom to die. But to
Look,
be honest,
I'm not suggesting we go and kidnap little Susie. I am
Mhm.
saying that their houses are probably largely unguarded. On their way home, they're probably in a pretty fucking normal vehicle. All we have to do is follow them, wait until they're in a convenient spot, put a bag over their head, and kidnap them.
Does anybody know how to torture people to get information?
Luke looks around.
I take that as a no.
Citizen is ever to learn.
Hey, I might have friends who can teach me.
I can do it.
Maggie is shaking her head.
I understand some of us doesn't like what's about to be. I don't like what's happening as well. But I want to survive. I don't want to die in a gun to my head. Because if I die, you know, people I care will die as well.
Technocrats aren't people, like I said.
No, but the people they're attached to are.
That's called a casualty.
That's a game of escalation
No,
that
it's
you have to
not.
be very careful about.
No, it's not. You're overcomplicating it.
Maggie, it's already escalated. There's already fucking execution videos making the rounds. I'd say we're pretty escalated. We're
They
here
already
now.
want us dead. They're already willing to take our families.
Exactly.
Shit's as bad as it'll get.
I don't think they will care about our families. It's just that they don't need to do that right now. If they do need to do that, I think they will do that.
They're willing to do anything to see us dead and erased or on their side.
Yeah.
So,
Most of the people knows I already have, as I said, most of the people knows I already have.
so can I humbly request to be part of the interrogation squad whenever you find one? I'll be able to make them talk.
Not my call. Y'all
Who's
forget, I represent a different political organization. I'm here out of courtesy.
who
Bro, guys, and who?
Maggie looks over the Alliance.
I don't like
No.
wearing a crown.
Luke kind of looks like who makes the decision.
Sure you
That's
do, Your Majesty.
What did she say?
She said, sure you do, Your Majesty, to Ken.
He shoves her like a petulant child.
And she smacks him.
This devolves quickly.
Maggie is gonna smack her head on the table. I need you to stop for a moment.
Knock it the fuck off.
Because they just brought up a very good point. We don't have anyone who's taking a head on this. And frankly, an organization with the head works a hell of a lot better than a bunch of random people each taking their own course.
I
We need to elect someone to take charge of this whole operation.
Look not. You should.
And she
Fought them before.
kind of shakes her head a bit and almost like she wants to bite off her lower lip, but she looks out at everyone and the iPad. There's only one person I know among our numbers, traditions, disparates, and anything in between that has exemplified any kind of leadership and has the head to do what needs to be done and say what needs to be said.
All right, so we're nominating Ken. Can we stop the flowery language? So,
And Escher will pat him on the back and put a Burger King crown on his head.
Ken does not look pleased with this series of events.
do you not want to?
Congratulations, leader of the Alliance and the Traditions. Look at you.
God.
He's not leader of any tradition.
He's just the leader of this coalition.
You need to find a second person as well.
Describe it however makes you the most comfortable.
Ken
It
needs to
wasn't a
choose
question
second.
directed, it's just a statement.
Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. He kind of looks at Ken and says, "You need to choose a second as well."
I do have a second.
Who?
Guess.
Oh no, this isn't a political choice. My second, since you all made the decision to put me in charge of this operation, is a man known to myself. I am sure you will all learn to love Father Gideon.
Oh, God damn it. Escher puts her hand over the iPad and just, you guys hear, are you fucking serious?
Just a fucking serious.
Putting my fucking dad in charge?
We will talk later.
Why?
We will talk later.
She takes her hand down from over the camera.
Is there anything else we have to talk about? Because this is getting irritating fast.
Who's Father Gideon?
Who was Father Gideon?
Father Gideon is an experienced military commander.
Ugh.
Out of character, is that Paul?
No, it's JC.
Oh no. Oh no.
Is it PC or NPC?
PC.
It's PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Maggie is going to text Ken. She wants to talk to him at some point, face to face.
You hear Ken's phone go off, but he doesn't even reach for his pocket. It's funny because when Maggie specifically texts him, all his phone does, there's a specific soundbite that just goes, and anyone who's watched Adventure Time can just hear, unacceptable! Unacceptable!
1 million year dungeon.
Maggie just looks directly at Ken. Really?
Really? Now, God, put me in charge. Orders are going to be coming down, and they're going to be coming fast. But first things first. I don't care who uses what mojo. Find Dende. We're going to start with the ones that aren't taken by technocrats, and we're going to move to the ones that are. We already know.
If anybody needs supplies for a quick escape or a quick attack, I can provide them.
I could use some help putting out feelers to people that are presumed missing, but not captured.
If you need a scout, I'm your person.
You are indeed. She kind of chuckles and winks at the camera. When I can remember you.
You can remember me now, can't you?
I can, and I'm glad that I can.
So, should we get an object from her library to find her?
Actually, I think Maggie still has the stone that Dende gave her, so she'll hold that out. Who's our best scryer?
Escher will hold a hand up. You want to find a rendezvous point so we can meet up and do that?
Yeah, I do.
Great, look at us making progress.
So I'm not completely sure how valid that is, but if they used me once for an assault, perhaps that might be a good idea to, since they share the same DNA that I do, to have a look where they are, if they are in the city. Because if there's just me, that's fine, and Daisy, but if there's others, and they're all in one place, then perhaps it's good to know where that place is.
Same. Right now, we have 3 members whose DNA has been compromised. There's Belton over here, myself, possibly, and Ginger.
Speaking of which, was Ginger arrested again?
Yes.
Well, that's the end of that.
It's gone
Which
now.
means if you see her in person again, kill on sight.
Okay.
Now, things we know about scouts. They're scouts. Individually, they're extremely dangerous individuals that are highly trained in martial arts and firearms. Firearms is a bit of an assumption, but since that's how they tend to roll, I wouldn't expect them to neglect that. Also, individually, these scouts will insist on breaking us up. They will likely come to you saying that there is something important and you need to follow them right away. Oftentimes, they'll stress that the reason they need to follow them is discretion, no matter how illogical that is at the moment. They use dated information, mentioning things like Ms. Lovechild, for instance, and often run into logical inconsistencies that are easy to pick up. The second that you let them know their cover is compromised, their default is to attack. It took me and Maggie working together to take down one of them. Assume any one of them in hand-to-hand is as dangerous as myself or more so. That being said, they can't take hits too well. If you shoot them, they will in fact bleed.
If you burn them, they will indeed light up.
Like a Christmas tree.
Okay.
Which leads me to my next point. Now, some of us can generate amazing amounts of magical force. Some of us can't. So, who here owns a firearm?
She raised an arm. Really? She looks at everybody.
She'll hold up her. Maggie will hold up her hand.
Oh,
Are
thank
these
God, I thought I was a
firearms?
weirdo.
Ken asked if there was a firearm, probably. Or who owned one, rather.
I own
Okay.
one, and it's registered.
Violet
Yep,
is
me
yours
too.
registered.
Yeah, it's all official.
Don't use your registered weapons. Now, fortunately, we live in a magical place called the United States of America. Firearms, as long as you're willing to travel outside of New York, are not hard to get your hands on. Bringing them back to New York presents a legal risk. Using them, well, we're going to be up to some gangster shit anyway, so the usual legal problems entail. If you're willing to carry, also be willing to get arrested. Hopefully you don't. Otherwise, my personal recommendation here is that you save firearms for planned assaults. Ditch them afterwards.
So are we taking off former moral restrictions that we've set out?
Don't go out of your way to kill civilians. Some get caught in the crossfire. Well, I know I can sleep at night.
They're acceptable casualties, but I'd like to hope nobody here is sadistic.
Is what?
Sadistic?
Oh.
Maggie does look visibly shaken at the prospect of doing things that she never wanted to do again.
From here on in, we are in a state of total war. There is no length I am not willing to go to. We tried having the moral high ground. We tried to limit things. Look how well that worked.
So we go Cuckoo Town. Got it.
Well, I always wanted to be a terrorist, right?
I mean, I think the correct word is reality deviant.
That's how they're going to brand us if we get caught.
None of us
How
want,
many?
but it's the cards we were dealt, you know?
I know.
Which leads me to our next item on the list. Who here has a normal day job?
Maggie raises her hand. I
Ken.
just got
Right.
this job.
Raise hand.
Luke
Ken raises his hand.
Raise his hand.
Here's what I'm going to tell you then. It's nice to have a normal day job. It's nice to blend into society. I personally make a point of blending into society. Always be on your guard in a normal setting. That is a place they can easily get to you if they know who you are and are willing to put in the time. Whatever job you have, whatever identity you've crafted for yourself in the normal world, if you have to leave, leave. There's no paycheck or W-2 or fucking anything that is more important than this conflict or your lives.
To help put things in perspective, what is our end goal? Drive them out of the city?
Survive.
Survive.
Yay, points for me.
Now, ideally, at least for this campaign, our objective is to drive them to a pre-bellum state. That's pre-war for those of you who did not go through a history course when you were in college. Back to where we were, and then we can talk about building from there. Not so ideally, we're going to be hitting them over and over again until they have to pause. But for now, we need to rally. So, objectives for the moment. Find Dende. Find the Verbena head. Extract them to a safe location. Once we have them, we can focus on captives that we know are captive, like Rose. And then, at the very bottom of the list, people we know nothing about, like Jewel. Now, I expect each and every one of you, and even the people who are not here, to start founding your little mini fortresses. Escher is my czar in charge of setting up the network, just like we talked about. That way, when we do get our people, we can move them around, make sure things are copacetic in that regard. I know you all have your reservations about this. I know you all have your preferences. Maybe there will come a time where you don't have to listen to me and you can make your giant fort together. But for now, that's the order of the day.
So a regular canned Tuesday.
Pretty much. So, is there anyone here who is not clear about our two current objectives of finding masters and setting up the network?
I think that speaks for everybody.
Excellent. Further orders are going to be coming with specific objectives towards these goals. They are going to be coming inside of 72 hours, and they're going to be coming with speed and fucking sound. Until then, shelter in place, prepare whatever it is you need to prepare, and get ready for this long fucking roller coaster. Because now you have put me in charge of the operator's booth. And God help us, I am going to show you what war looks like. And Ken gets up and just kind of walks off screen. Then pops his head back in, dismissed, and walks off again.
Regular fucking Tuesday.
Dramatic. And Esther will leave the group and the iPad will shut off. The apprentice will take it and snap it in half.
That seems like a perfectly good waste of an iPad, but I can't argue with her motives. Or not her motives. Fuck, Vinny. Her methods. Maggie will stand up. Anyone needs me, you know how to contact me. And she will walk out.
Well, as Brad gets up, I guess I'm going to turn to teach Taylor how to reinforce clothes then. And she's going to walk off.
Estes will gather her things and walk off.
Luke will remain there, and I believe that will be the moment we end our scene.
Thank you to our players for playing. Thank you to our watchers for watching. This has been another scene for Living World of Darkness Street Magic.